I'm in the game still rapping at a high capacity. If Nas wants to smoke, come in the booth. I will rap
He don't
circles
want no
around.
smoke. He enjoying that 150 million, 200 million he done made.
Okay then, so then leave me alone while I'm on the field.
You was effing with him. He wasn't bothering you.
Really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them.
Jim Jones was never better than Nas. Jim Jones will never be better than Nas. And this is coming from somebody that's not a Nas fan. I love Dipset. I love the Diplomats. I love Bird Gang. But we not about to start rewriting history because Jim Jones got confident.
Jim Jones slid onto Shannon Sharpe's podcast and dropped a bomb, claiming he's not just relevant to the culture, but more influential than Nas. Yeah, he really said that. And the second those words left his mouth, the energy shifted hard. 50 Cent didn't respond with a name drop or some petty clapback. Nah, he went surgical. He posted a federal transcript straight to Instagram, no caption needed, just cold, quiet smoke. And from that moment on, the internet exploded.
I never got to, I never got to sit down and have a conversation with Nas and things like that. I had called you about it and things like that. That was like still one of the people that I never got to have a conversation throughout my history of rap and things like that. I think I would love to have a conversation with Nas. I wouldn't know if he knows it, but Nas was one of my all-time favorite rappers coming up and things like that.
I've heard you say that.
Since the barbecue and things like that. Like he really put the whole dope boy rap, crack hustler, get fresh rap into perspective before anybody else.
Fans started digging into wiretaps, old interviews, shady footage, everything. And Jim? He hit the gym and got loud, spitting back disses like he's gearing up for a full-blown rap battle behind bars. But this mess goes way deeper than Nas, and it ain't just about egos or clout chasing. This move from 50 felt like a silent warning, a reminder to the whole industry about who's really bulletproof out here, and who just got lucky ducking indictments when it got hot.
Recently saw a clip on Instagram where a young kid was comparing you to Nas and saying that you got
that's my young boy
big hits.
He's wild.
Yo, he looked to you. He learned how to wear the BB Simon belt from you. He got his swag. Like, how crazy is that? Because in my era, you know what I'm saying? Nas is like a god.
In my era.
See, Jim might have been trying to flex or make a cultural statement, but now he's opened Pandora's box. Because whenever Jim Jones brings up Nas, it always hits with a different kind of tension. And that's not by accident. Their beef dates all the way back to 2002 when Nas randomly went off during a Hot 97 rant and dragged Cameron, calling his whole album trash for no real reason. That one rant from Nas was all it took to light a fire under Dipset, and Jim Jones dove straight into attack mode like he was born for it. From there, it turned chaotic. Nas and Dipset were trading shots across mixtapes like lyrical grenades, but Jim, he made it personal fast. He didn't hold back, talking wild about smacking the kufi off Nas and kept that same energy in his bars. We Fly High wasn't just a flex, it was a declaration.
But remember, Nas' first record, The Barbecue, came out when I was in 11th grade. So Nas was my idol when I was young. Like you did, came to dressing, the wordplay, the music, everything. I was a superior Nas fan, period. I'd never take that away from him. But then as I got in the game, you gotta realize that your rivals would be idols, and not to take anything away from that, I developed my own style and my own lane that these kids start to gravitate towards the same way I gravitated towards Nas when I was younger and things like that. It's a whole different generation.
But here's where things get twisted. Because believe it or not, Jim Jones used to admire Nas. Just a year ago, he had nothing but love. Wasn't saying a single bad word. No sneak disses, no smoke, just respect. But that respect turned into shade real fast, and fans noticed. Everything flipped the moment Jim sat down with Fat Joe and Jadakiss on their podcast. Fat Joe, never one to stay quiet, decided to stir things up and press Jim about influence. And Jim, he took the bait with a grin. What should have stayed a spicy podcast moment suddenly spiraled. Jim didn't just speak his piece, he doubled down. He couldn't wait to talk more, and then, boom, he dropped one of the most reckless takes in recent hip-hop memory. Jim Jones didn't just claim he was more relevant than Nas, he said he was more influential. We're talking Nas, Queensbridge royalty, the mind behind Illmatic, God's Son, King's Disease, a lyrical legend who's still packing out Madison Square Garden in his 50s like it's nothing. But Jim, he wasn't intimidated, not even close. He didn't hesitate. In fact, he doubled down, loud and clear.
I came into light and started going crazy that these kids love me. They don't really know who Nas is. If he's 22, he's born in 03.
Not all of them. Some of them, though. But
You know what I mean?
A lot
Like-
of them, though.
That podcast moment didn't just stir the pot, it flipped the whole table, set it on fire, and left the ashes blowing in every direction. And before the smoke could even clear, Jim was back, this time on a different platform, ready to fan the flames even harder.
No, me, Jim Jones. No diplomats, no nobody else. Me, Jim Jones. Check my track record, then check everybody else's track record. Then go to the billboards and check all my entries, then check all them entries and shit. And I'm not taking nothing away from nobody, but I hear the comparisons and then be trying to act funny when it comes. No, I've been spanking a lot of this shit about the industry. I've been putting on.
He pulled up on Nightcap with Shannon Sharpe and Chad Ocho Cinco Johnson, supposedly to explain his comments. But what he did was pour more gas on an already raging fire.
Can I ask you a question, Jim?
Mm-hmm.
You smoke, right?
Yeah.
Were you smoking when you said you better than Nas?
I might have been a little bit.
Shannon Sharpe, he wasn't letting anything slide. He pressed Jim right out the gate. But it's what Jim said after that had fans pausing the episode, jaw dropped.
I'm way more influential than Nas, and I don't care what nobody say. I know I made a little boo-boo when we talk about the sales and all this type of shit. I don't feel like getting into that rhetoric about where I started and where he started.
Well, you said that
but
bullshit.
listen, Nas was nice when I was in high school. When I was in 10th grade, Nas came out. Nas was dope. We appreciated him. He had a little bit run.
Just when you thought the comparisons would stop, Jim hit fans with another hot take. He started digging into that old Dipset versus Nas tension from the early 2000s. Claimed he was always a real Nas fan, but then flipped it and said he surpassed him in influence. Then came the spin move. He brought up Nas's fashion sense, gave him props as one of the flyest ever. But no matter how much he danced around it, Jim kept circling back to one thing. Nas don't move the streets like I do.
Nas always came up second to Jay and DMX and all these other people. Like, he
Ain't
never
no
had
shame in that. There a
he
lot
never
of
had-
folks
he
came up
never had
second to
that
Tom
type of-
Brady.
He never had that type of influence on us, except for his first album. I already told you, I used to want to dress like Nas because he had a lot of fresh clothes that the hustlers used to wear, and we used to see him on TV. He had one of the illest albums of all time. And then in high school when he had the barbecue and shit like that. So I'm a real fan of Nas, but he kind of lost me after the movie Belly and shit like.
Shannon Sharpe, he wasn't having it at all. Jim Jones got so salty he started clowning Shannon's fit mid-episode, talking wild about his clothes like it was a roast battle. Meanwhile, Ocho Cinco was just sitting back, low-key enjoying the chaos while Shannon and Jim went head-to-head like it was a live showdown.
Oh, you been in this thing, but lyrically, I'm gonna keep it a stack with you.
Yeah,
Y'all
but look
ain't
how you
effing with
dress.
Nas.
Look how you dress. You don't even be in the same places I be in. The
But
things
I-
that we, listen to
I
me,
can be in the church house. You can't F with Nas lyrically. I don't know who told you that. Now look, I know you on that good stuff, but you're not seeing Nas.
Then Jim crossed the line. He straight up accused Shannon of bringing him on just to farm views. That's when UNC snapped. Shannon exploded, flipped the energy instantly, and turned from calm podcast host to full-blown opponent. Jim said he was better than Nas, and Shannon wasn't gonna let that slide. He didn't just question Jim's lyrics, he questioned his physique.
You got a bunch of 40 and 50-year-olds in their panties because I said I'm better than
It don't
Nas.
matter.
Look at you. Look at you.
Nobody,
Ain't all in your,
ain't
all in
nobody
your
from
film.
Dipset gonna take
Shannon,
you
that
over
shirt-
Nas.
that
Nobody
shirt
from the
too-
Diplomats
that
but
shirt-
you.
That shirt too tight.
Hold on, Jim.
Hold on.
That shirt too
Hold on,
tight.
Hold on.
That
Jim,
shirt too
Jim.
tight. You want to go back
Hold
to
on.
I really mean it? I really mean it started. We could go
No,
back to
but
the
I just
history,
said,
bro.
for you to
Don't
even
do
say that.
bro.
Suddenly, the conversation shifted from hip-hop to a whole fitness challenge. Jim tried to spin the moment into a "Who's got it like that?" Jim war, calling out Shannon for a workout battle, hoping to flex on a different level. It was less about music now and more about proving he's still got dominance, even if it's in the gym instead of the booth.
I'm still playing at a
Jada,
high level.
hey,
You better
you-
check my
you-
record,
you
heard?
jumping up and
I'm
down.
still playing
You
at
need
a
to
high
go back
level.
and get Jada. Jada
I'm
been
rapping
cooked
at,
on.
I'm rapping at a high level. You better check my stats, bro. I will
we
run
not
circles
denying
around
that.
Nas rapping right. I will run circles around Nas rapping right
No,
now.
Nas,
Right now, I will run.
put his
I will
microphone
run.
up. Let me take my mic
Saturn.
off.
I will
Give me
run
a mic.
Saturn around Nas right now rapping.
But while Jim was puffing his chest and talking reps, 50 Cent, he had already made his move. Quiet, slick, and deadly. That individual one label, still sitting heavy in the background. Meanwhile, the internet, going crazy. The comment sections were a war zone.
This the biggest podcast you ever been on.
Do you know
Every
what-
podcast
do you know
you been
what
on
Nas-
better than this one.
Hold on. We off topic.
I'm not a
Hold on.
podcaster.
No,
Give me-
no,
hold on,
This is
hold
what
on.
I, this is what I do. You see
Name
you
a
in your
podcast you've been on
feelings? You
bigger
see in
than
your
this one.
feelings? You see
When
in
you
your
get
feelings?
big, you get
This is
invited to
what I
Club Shay Shay.
This is what I do.
Nas get invited to
You a
Club
pop-
Shay Shay.
Fans couldn't believe a retired NFL Hall of Famer was out here defending Nas harder than rappers in the game. One fan even said, Shannon did what Fat Joe and Jadakiss should have done. Another wrote, Jones, you delusional. Shannon, thank you for calling it out. And honestly, they had a point, because why were Joe and Jada so quiet during that first podcast?
You gotta start buying baggy your clothes, big fella. You too big, man.
You talk about you in the gym. Now you want to want me to see me in the gym?
Oh, we can do
Since
that.
you like to talk that ish, now come see me in the gym.
We talking about working out. We talking about working out or strength? What we talking about? Working out or strength?
Work however you want to do it.
We talking about
since you got money.
If we talking about
put your money where your mouth is.
Since you talking about working out, I burn you. You talking about working out, I burn you. You talking about working out or strength? Because you probably can lift a lot more than me.
Whatever.
You're bigger than me. You're probably stronger than me.
Whatever.
But if you talk about working out, I burn you.
This ain't what you do. This ain't what you want. You are doing good when you talk about Nas and Jada. You don't want to see this.
While Jim kept barking and Shannon kept clapping back, 50 Cent was lurking in the shadows, watching the whole circus unfold, and trust, he wasn't amused. But just when folks thought the drama was settling down, it got petty fast. That's when fans dug up the clip, and boom, total disrespect. Back in the day, Jim didn't just get ignored by Nas, he got laughed off the stage. Straight humiliation. And now in 2025, that old footage is getting recycled like fresh ammo. The same energy is back, louder and messier than ever. But it still wasn't over. Because while Nas was staying silent and Shannon was out here flexing in the gym, another player was quietly keeping score. 50 Cent. And the moment he heard Jim Jones say he was better than Nas, he didn't argue, he didn't debate, he didn't even blink, he just laughed. 50 Cent didn't say a word. He let receipts do the talking. Straight from his bottomless vault of petty, he pulled out one of the most loaded rumors in hip-hop history and reignited the fire with just one post. And he called Jim Jones Individual One. And that caption had the whole internet howling, because if you know, you know. Individual One ain't just a slick nickname, it's a federal label tied to one of the most infamous wiretaps from the Tekashi 6X99 saga back in 2018.
They got, honestly, I can't, like, if it was like Jim Jones, imagine putting a pen to paper to write about him. Even so nice about him. How did you do that? What's the first sentence? What the fuck do you write about him? I'm not anxious to hear the Jim Jones diss record. Like, I'm like, yo, the used to have so nervous was like B.I.G., Pac, right? Even Cannabis, like Eminem, the used to have you like, if we go at it, dog, we gotta go hard. You know what I'm saying? But these Jim Jones, like, I mean, I respect you getting your money. You're like, exactly, right?
During 691 Trey Blood trial, prosecutors played a phone call that was allegedly linked to Jim Jones. He wasn't officially named, but in court, he was only referred to as Individual One. In that wiretap, someone was allegedly giving orders to violate Tekashi for snitching on the set. Now, let's be clear. Jim's voice was never officially confirmed in court, and he was never charged. But in the streets, on the blogs, and especially in 50 Cent's mind, that clip became legendary. And now, with Jim running his mouth on podcasts trying to bait Nas into a battle, 50 saw his perfect moment. He dipped back into his IG archives and reposted a meme he had once deleted in silence, the one that hit like a sucker punch, so that's why they didn't pull him in. Damn, the shade, ruthless. And just like that, people started whispering again. Say it ain't so, Jimmy. Let's rewind to 2019 when the Shade Room posted a courtroom update straight from Tekashi 6991's explosive trial. A verified court reporter said Tekashi named Jim Jones as a 9 Trey Bloods member under oath. And you already know 50 Cent couldn't help himself. He had to comment. Then came the now infamous video clip, 50 Cent looking mock scared, full of sarcasm. He literally captioned it, "I'm afraid for my life. I mean, Jimmy is gang gang." The internet dying laughing. But Jim, he wasn't laughing. He was tight. You could feel it in his whole body language. That post hit a nerve. But here's where it gets wild, because this whole firestorm didn't even start with Nas. 50's real beef, been simmering with Jim Jones for years. The Nas moment, that was just the perfect excuse for 50 to start dragging Jimmy back through the mud all over again. This drama runs deep. Back in 2007, 50 made a bold chess move. He brought Jim Jones and Joel Santana out on stage during a G-Unit concert, right when Dipset was falling apart behind the scenes. That stunt didn't sit right with Cameron at all. It looked like straight-up sabotage, a public jab during a very fragile moment in the crew.
I'm hiding out in Texas. Please, whatever you do, don't tell them I'm in San Antonio. Don't tell him I'm staying at the Four Seasons. Don't tell him, please don't tell him, man, because it's just so much pressure on me right now. I don't know what to do.
Fast forward to 2019 again, and boom, Jim Jones gets slapped with that Individual One label in a wiretap. Prosecutors played that wiretap in court, and even though Jim Jones was never officially charged, the label stuck. Individual One became a digital scarlet letter, and the internet ran wild with snitching rumors that still haven't died down. Jim saw every one of 50's shady posts, all of them, and for a minute he went ghost. No rants, no clapbacks, just one quiet post. A throwback photo from the Bird Gang era, soaked in Dipset nostalgia. In the caption, he wrote, "Why you keep lying, LOL? I'm going back to sleep, free Mel Matrix till it's reversed." That free Mel Matrix line? That was deep. A public nod to his longtime friend who's serving over 11 years on racketeering charges. But it wasn't just love. It was a subtle jab. A way of telling 50, you're out here fabricating stories while the real ones sit behind bars. But Jimmy wasn't done talking. He fired off another post, this time flexing in the gym, shirt off, energy high. The caption came with smoke. "Somebody tell Shannon Sharpe, don't start ducking this challenge now. You gonna talk like a podcaster or walk like a champ? My sneakers tied. You already challenged me in front of the world. Might as well finish the job." Then he threw in a little spice for Ocho Cinco too. He said he don't want to do it in public? Cool, let's do it in private.
Yeah, Jimmy boy, you should have never brought this up. Y'all are only 3 years apart, and Nas is just like murdering you. You asked us to look up the stats, and here they are. Like Jim Jones, like you got a couple songs. I mean, like literally, it's a couple. But we're talking about Nas. Let me show y'all Nas's last projects. Nas been getting it in since 2018. Jimmy, when the last time you put out an album? Oh, would you look at that? You have been dropping music. You've really been dropping music. But nobody's heard it. Nobody's listening, bro.
Jim wasn't backing down, not even a little. He made it real clear. I know his rep as an athlete on the line. As long as you're the witness, we don't duck no challenges. Size don't matter where I'm from. Run it. While 50 Cent kept trolling from the sidelines, Jim was suiting up like it was straight up wartime. And just when people thought the drama might cool off, Jim lit it back up with another spicy post. He wrote, "If you 40 and up arguing with me about Nas, you already lost." Yo, boom, generational jab thrown. Then he doubled down, calling out old heads for falling for the bait. He said every time Mel Matrix went viral, his own stream shot up. This whole thing, marketing 101, and older artists, he claimed they were stuck in the past while he's playing chess with the new rules. Y'all mad at the way things run today? Tighten up. Then came the knockout caption that had timelines buzzing. "I said what I said. P.S. I will wrap circles around any artist from my era. Whoever dare step in the booth, bring some money with you. Cause this game ain't free. We outside in the field. Take that how you want, but just know moves are being made daily." And the wildest part, while all this chaos was unraveling, Nas stayed silent. No tweets, no shade, no subliminals, just calm. Meanwhile, Jim's out here still baiting, still throwing shots, still claiming he's more influential than the god MC himself. And fans, they're calling him out hard. Cause if Nas ever does respond, this ain't just gonna be a diss track, it'll be a lyrical execution. And everybody knows it. Right now, Jim's shouting into the void. Nas is letting the silence speak louder than words. And 50 Cent is still back there in the shadows playing chess while everyone else is yelling checkers. And if that unreleased wiretap is real, Jim might have just talked himself into something way deeper than rap. Cause while he's out here flexing for likes and playing Jim games, 50's gone eerily quiet. And when 50 Cent goes silent, that's usually the moment right before the bomb drops. So now the real question is, will Nas finally step in and shut this down with bars, or will 50 Cent let the streets tell the truth? After it's already too late for Jim to run. If you're feeling the heat, don't forget to like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share this madness with someone who still thinks Jim's just trolling. We got more chaos on the way. See you on the next one.